James, my cereal. You can catch me the dad from Monist. Shout out to the Monist gang. Okay, cool. So I have a children's I Am Affirmation book on Amazon. There is a donation link on the channel if you wanted to support the channel. I'll leave it in the description. And today I'll discuss the science and the psychology of I Am Affirmations. I'll discuss the clinical psychological experiments and the importance of these affirmations and how you should write them down and how you should use them in your life. Okay, cool. Let's start with benefit number one of affirmations, right? Is that it gives you access to cognitive resources that are unavailable to you when you're under threat and allows you to broaden your attention to other positive possibilities. So if your rent is due, right, and your attention is on the landlord shouting or homelessness, the part of your brain that is filled with anxiety takes over and you shrink at the face of danger. But when you start affirming something like, I am so thankful and grateful now that I've successfully paid my rent repeatedly, it triggers your brain to thinking of more positive outcomes and possibilities for you to actually achieve that goal. So, because threat narrows your attention and blocks you from other cognitive resources and from you seeing the bigger picture and other opportunities to get out of that situation. Now, an experiment that was carried out by Harbour and colleagues put participants with a live but securely caged tarantula spider, right? And the non-affirmed participants felt that this spider was physically closer to them than it actually was. But the self-affirmed participants managed to estimate the distance accurately, as though the affirmation psychologically distanced the threat from their own self. So you can see how affirmations give you access to other resources for you to act appropriately and reason appropriately within an endangered situation, unlike those who are non-affirmed and believe the spider is closer to them, which just provokes fear and anxiety and reduces the opportunities for them to get out of that situation. The second use of I Am Affirmations was it helps with stress buffering, right? A study on college undergraduates pointed out that a midterm exam, which was the most stressful event to them. In this study, students who affirmed values before a midterm exam had less epinephrine, as measured by hormones involved in the fight or flight responses. And they had less of that compared to students who did not partake in these affirmations and did these exercises. And the buffering of stress can be further seen with a publication from Casio and their research associates who used a functional magnetic imaging machine, right? And they gave participants self-affirmations and used this machine to scan their brains. And they've discovered that the affirmations activated reward centers and circuits in the brain, like the ventral striatum and the ventral median prefrontal cortex, lit up and they were active because of these affirmations. Now, these positive reward circuits normally light up when you do things like eating your favorite snack or when you win a competition. These circuits tend to reduce pain and are useful when you're challenged or threatened by something. So this illustrates how important these I Am Affirmations are in stressful situations and to make you feel better when under distress. This is further supported by Cook and his research associates, right? He did a study where he found that students who self-affirm, their failing marks exerted less influence on their long-term sense of belonging to the school as compared to non-affirmed peers. And multiple studies show that the grade point average of self-affirmed students improve over time. I use positive affirmations throughout my tertiary education because during my postgrad I'll say to myself, I'm so thankful and grateful now that I'm the best researcher in my field and that I'm writing an award-winning doctorate. And this really grounded me during times where I felt like I hit a dead end. Now, the third benefit of I Am Affirmations that I want to discuss is when you're faced with a challenge, it allows you to have an offensive approach instead of an avoidance or reactive kind of approach. This is because we know that if we put your brain under a scanner, we will see increased activity in parts of your brain, such as the VMPFC, which is associated with imaging positive rather than negative future events that make you anticipate future rewards. So the I Am Affirmations makes you expect a future benefit or a future victory, even within a challenging situation. So it makes you future orientated in a positive way. The last and most important reason for me is that I Am Affirmations allows you to speak things into existence. It allows you to reprogram your subconscious mind with an idea that it can create and bring it into reality for you. Because remember, the universal law of correspondence states, as within, so without, as above, so below. You create the internal world within, and then it's reflected within your outer world. So when you self-affirm, you plant an idea in your head, like for example, I'm the best researcher in my field. Creating that reality within your subconscious mind will reflect on your outside. The Christian belief system describes God as I am, because you are an expression of God. And when you speak of yourself, you speak of God, and you create because you're made in God's image. So be careful what you create and be careful what you say. So now, you may hear this and you might question, so how do I generate self-affirmations? So I'll tell you how people in the lab for these psychological experiments do it, and then I'll tell you how I do it. So in the laboratories, they make individuals list a number of values which are important to them for a specific situation. They choose the most important and then spend 10 minutes writing about those values narratively, how they would embody those values per se. And if you identify those values which are important to you, write them out and identify which aspects of those values represent yourself or your behavior. You can make good, calming values come to mind whenever a threat comes and repeat them. I, on the other hand, just write my affirmations like this. I am so thankful and grateful now that, and I state what I'm thankful and grateful for in present tense. So, and I repeat the sentence or multiple sentences almost every day, if not every day, because I have it written down in my goal book. James Manserial, you can catch me at the Diary from Honest. If this gave you any value at all, please like and subscribe. If you can support the channel monetarily, the link is in the description. And if you have kids, nephew, nieces, I have an I Am Affirmation book on Amazon. Let's take these I Am Affirmations and help the next generation grow and program them well.